Hello, everyone. This is Twanna, your career and anxiety coach. And I'm stopping by for a little bit this evening just to talk about self-abuse. Now, I'm sure for many of you that got your attention because we hear about child abuse and we hear about sexual abuse. We rarely, though, you can tell me in the comments how many of you have heard about self-abuse. And it is a term that is kind of being bandied around because so many of us do actually do self-abuse. Most of us don't do it willingly. Okay. As women, we tend to be socialized that everybody else should be taken care of before we take care of ourselves. Oftentimes, and if you're like me, you've been told that if you want to do something for yourself or, take care of yourself first, that's being selfish. And so many of us grow up with that idea that if I take care of myself, if I get enough rest, if I get enough sleep, if I tell someone, no, I don't want to do this extra task, or no, I want to do this extra project, or no, I don't want to go out, I just want to go home and get some rest, we feel like we're being selfish. But I can tell you this, that if you're not engaging in self-care on a regular basis, it is difficult to manage your anxiety. Take it from someone who knows. I was a single parent of 3, and I gotta tell you, I never heard of me time until my oldest daughter was 11. I felt like, their dad was, had passed away, and it was my responsibility to be the mom and the dad, and I had to be on my job and making sure they had everything in the world that I could possibly give them and take them to every activity, and they needed to be in everything. And my oldest was 11 years old, when I finally figured out, I heard the term me time. I was like, me time? What's that? And so all the ladies in the room turned and they looked at me like, me time. And I just had this look on my face like, me time? And they're like, don't you let have your mom take care of your kids, let a friend watch your kids where you can get some me time and, just do a bubble bath or get a massage, just take a nap, whatever's, read a book, whatever you want to do. And I was like, no, I've not heard of this before. And they looked at me in awe. And for a while, I just felt stupid. I was on it, I was working on my master's degree and I was working full time and I was trying to be a full-time mom. I didn't have time for me time, but now looking back at how stressed I was and how high strung I was, and, it didn't take, but a little bit to just feel like my cup was overflowing. And I always walked around in that state that if I get one more thing, if one more thing happens, it's boom, my cup is running over and I don't know what I'm going to do. And I didn't realize that I was empty. I was running on empty, and it's very difficult to manage your anxiety when you're feeling like you're like here every day. Like, I am just about to overflow. If I get one more thing, I'm done. I'm toast. And so it is a form of self-abuse if you're not getting enough sleep, if you're not eating the proper diet, if you're not getting enough rest, if you're not finding fun things to do. It's a form of self-abuse, and I don't regret many things that, I try not to live in the past. So one of the things I realized I had taught my girls was I had taught them not to take care of themselves. I had taught them not to do a lot of things that, that are fun things and whatnot. And so I was able to come back and correct, and it was a little difficult for them. I could hear them outside my door, they'd be like, what's she doing in there? And they'd be listening on the door. And oftentimes, at the time I didn't have a lot of money. So oftentimes I would go to my room and just read a book. That was my 30 minutes. And that's where I started, my 30 minutes of me time. I would go lay down on my bed and read a book. And sometimes I might nap, but most of the time it was read a book because I love to read, And so when we talk about self-care in me time, it doesn't have to be like gargantuan things that cost a lot of money. Because like I said, at the time, My pace was reading a book, or just, I would get up in the morning, get them up and say, get dressed, and I just go back to my room and I'd lay down and just relax, and just chill. And it can start off very, very small. And oftentimes when I have clients and I say me time and they look at me like, I don't have time for that. I typically start them with, give yourself 30 minutes 3 times a week. Give yourself 30 minutes 3 times a week. And we're talking about an hour and a half out of 7 days. It's really not a lot of time. It's something you can slide in. And it may be take a walk, go down to the lake, or walk around the park. And if you have kids, when you put them down for a nap, you take a nap. If you're at your job, really take a break. Take your lunch break and don't do work. Don't work at your desk, or bring a sandwich so that you can eat and walk at the same time and get the sunshine. Sunshine is like an extra vitamin D. You can't beat sunshine and fresh air. But start small. You don't have to do, like large things. And I can't say today I have a little extra time because I'm getting a massage today. And so once for some of you, you'll be able to jump into the massage thing. I had to work my way up. And so that's where I am today. I'm so excited. I didn't take lunch today, so I can get off early. And I'm sitting right outside of my masseuse office, and I cannot wait. She has this new thing that she says is vibrations, and where she has this gun where she can put it across your back, and it just does the vibrations and whatnot. I've never had it before. I told her I want that. I actually went to work, and I've been teleworking for quite a bit. So I went into the job, and so my back started aching, and I knew I needed some assistance with it. So the deep tissue massage is just a way to work out the kinks, but it's also a way to take care of myself as well. So I can tell you I'm plenty excited. And I have decided that I'm probably going to commit to every 2 weeks, I used to just do, when I finally got into the self-care thing and I had all my kids were smaller and I was by myself, I would commit to like maybe 2 massages a year. I figure I could work that into my budget and I would get it in. So now that my kids are in college and, my oldest who's watching now, she has her own job. So now I'm at the point where I can do more massages and do more things for myself. So I'm kind of excited about that today. And it's a great way, and actually a great way. Some people don't like for people with their hands on them. So massage may not be your thing. But, a facial is a good thing. If you save up the money or set that aside, going to the gym and working out, or going to the gym and sitting in the sun, or going taking a swim. Again, you have big things and you have small things. But self-care is so important because you can't fill any other vessels if you're empty. And that's really important, And the other thing, in addition, self-care is sometimes taking time out of your day just to let your mind wander. Give yourself permission to let your mind wander. Because what the science says is that creativity, when we come up with new ideas, is not when you're like deep focus and trying to relax. It is actually when you've given yourself your permission to just let your mind wander. I like to do it after my massage because I'm one of those people, I get loopy drunk when I get a massage. I can't drive a car. I can barely walk after my massage. And so, depending on where I do the massage, oftentimes they'll give me the extra 30 minutes. Like, no, just stay there. And, just when you're ready to get up, get up. And so I can just lay there and kind of, just relax in the afterglow of the massage, and I let my mind wander. And research says that when we let our mind wander, we're not stressed, take a few deep breaths and let go of the anxiety. That's when we become very creative and we can problem solve, and I can witness this. There have been some times, somebody's photobombing me back there. I can witness that there have been times at work I have been like intense and couldn't come up with what I needed to. I said, I'm going to take a break. And like 5 minutes into walking, the answer pops up completely laid out for me. And I was like, oh my goodness. But again, I walked away and I just relaxed and gave myself time to just think and enjoy. And that's when you're very creative, and it gives you a chance to let go of that anxiety and let go of some of the worry, let go of some of the doubt, and let go of some of the fear. And so that was my truth to you today. Don't do self-abuse. Take care of yourself. And taking care of yourself means, again, getting enough rest. I can't express how important it is to get enough rest. Get enough sleep, because sleep and rest can be two different things. You know, if you go, you never sleep and you never have downtime to rest, it can be very difficult to fill up. Again, eat properly in addition to that, and learn to say no. No can be a complete sentence. Or not now, or not another thing, or are you crazy? Well, however you want to say it. But don't feel you got to take on every single project. Give yourself permission. If you're not feeling it, give yourself permission. Be authentic and say, not at this particular time. I just can't take on that project. You know, there may come another time, something comes up, but just no. And don't feel like you got to explain yourself. I finally got finally learned how to do that. It took a minute, but just to say no, it's not something I'm willing to do at this time. And just leave it there. You know, the world doesn't end because you say no. You know, people may be upset with you, but if you can be upset and live and get over it, then certainly they can too. Okay, so be sure to take care of yourself. Don't do the self-abuse stuff. Do some self-care. If it's read a book, you know, walk around outside of your house, outside of your job. Go for a nice country drive. I used to love to drive when I was in Massachusetts, around the winding roads, especially this time of the year when the leaves are changing and everything. Very pretty. So that is my truth to you, and I wish you a great Tuesday evening, and take care.